Oh, recording in progress. Here we go. Hey, you guys, it's your everyday woman coming at you in an everyday way. Welcome, my darling, powerful everyday women of the world, to the Startup Stories podcast, where the ambitious everyday woman is heard, held, and served in life and business. I'm your host, Mia Frankel of Powerful Inc., the everyday woman's coach for living a peaceful and productive life. I promise you, you can have it all and be it all. I'm not going to say do it all because I am living it. In this podcast, I'll bring you relatable stories to keep you sane, grounded, and growing as you expand yourself and deliver your purpose to the world. And today, we're really going to get an opportunity to hear what that looks like, how peaceful productivity ebbs and flows through life with our guest, Arielle Loupos, who is the founder of Flower Girl. Arielle has created a company of a tangible product, you guys. So this is going to add another beautiful layer of business building logistics. Flower Girl is a sustainable period underwear brand that helps women feel safe, confident, and completely in flow with their flow and their bodies. Arielle has over a decade of experience with e-commerce and digital marketing, and she's helped countless brands grow and thrive online. But of course, when you apply that to your own business, it gets deeper. It's more purposeful, and I love this. It's powerfully feminine. Like, what a journey, and what a full picture of taking care of the feminine in a very feminine and loving way. So this started as a passion project, quickly became a movement, and one that challenges toxic norms around menstrual care and invites women to reconnect with the natural rhythm of their cycles. Through Flower Girl, Arielle isn't just creating a beautiful body safe underwear. She's creating confidence, connection, conversations. And if you follow her on socials, like, this is a movement to take back our periods and to take back our bodies and how they're handled. Because, like, who invented tampons? I don't think it was women.
A man
So,
did. Yeah.
a man did, right? Just shove some cotton up there. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
So, welcome, Arielle. There's a lot more we could say, but let's just hear from you. And, the woman that found this vision and is turning it into real life.
Thank you so much for the kind intro. It's funny because it feels like it's been an ever evolving journey. When I first started, to be honest, all I wanted was really cute period underwear, right?
Mhm.
So the main focus was like create something sexy, make it cute. I was like, I want to do content differently than all of the brands that I'm currently wearing. Also, I had tried every other brand pretty much that was out there and was always fairly disappointed with the quality as well as, of course, with disposables. Like,
Yeah.
I hated wearing tampons. Pads were really uncomfortable. So this all started because I was like, I feel like I could do this better for women. So throughout 2 years of research and development, with an initial thought of like, oh, let's just make like really cute underwear, I started learning about textiles. I started learning about how important natural fiber is for your body versus synthetic, especially in our most intimate area.
Mhm.
So I started sourcing non-toxic, natural fibers that are body safe. And ultimately, that kind of has become the value message that's stuck with women. And I
Okay.
think that women are starting to really appreciate that. And it has been a lot of education too, around informing that women, what we've been using, unfortunately, hasn't always been made with our bodies in mind.
Mhm.
It's been a crazy journey, but it's been the best. And I'm really proud of, the final product. It's
Right.
really great quality materials.
So, talk about navigating business development with something that has to be manufactured at a scale that makes it financially sustainable and
Yeah.
yet accessible.
Yeah.
And then getting it patented and, shipping and all of that. So, had
Yeah.
you, in your e-commerce and, previous experience, had you done, oh, we'll just call them like brick and mortar type products, or had you been mostly digital?
Yeah, so I like to joke now that I naively went into product development
Okay.
because of my background in e-commerce, naively thinking, oh, I can throw a website together. I can do email marketing. I can get all of the technical side of the business set up,
Yeah.
um, which once I started creating samples and learning about manufacturing and textiles, I was like, holy shit. Like that in itself is a crazy journey. But I live in Los Angeles, so I produce the product here in LA. I'm fortunate because I was able to. I've spent hours driving around downtown to different production facilities. I would go to textile shows and meet sales reps from fabric mills who
Oh,
would educate me. And I just talked to a ton of people who connected me with other people. And don't get me wrong, like I started with one manufacturer, ended up going with another. There were a
yeah.
lot of learnings there.
Mhm.
But I really wanted to be involved in every part of the process while I was learning it. So with
Yeah.
that said, I am still producing in small batches in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And I say small batches, but it is my minimum order quantity is about 300 units per style. So it is a decent investment, and producing in the States is significantly more expensive than it is overseas.
Sure.
However, then when you go overseas, you've got higher minimums. They want you to do at least 1,000
Oh,
products
okay.
per style. So
Okay.
it's been a definitely like managing inventory is such a balancing act, and like, okay, here we go, another round of like thongs,
Mhm.
and because you just want to make sure that you've got the full size run available. So that's also been another learning journey. But all things, ultimately the goal, I do recognize through this, I'm very proud to say the product is produced in LA,
Mhm.
manufactured in small batches. I know my manufacturer. I know the team that's making the
Yeah.
product. I know that they're paid fair wages, and I would always want to continue that even if I do go overseas. But I do see why people produce overseas now. We just don't essentially have like the manufacturing capacity to scale in the States. So obviously my hope and goal for the business is to get overseas to produce, because I hope to be producing at like a massive scale soon.
So listening to that brings me back to a previous podcast guest, Jennifer with St. Louis Closet, based out of St.
Uh-huh.
Louis. She bought a warehouse, dude, and manufactures the closets in
Wow.
the St. Louis area. So I
Oh,
don't
oh,
know, maybe you could
yeah,
create like
yeah,
a bigger thing because that quality control is such a beautiful piece of your heart, right?
yeah, yeah,
And
it is.
so wherever that vision comes to fruition, we know that that will stay in the
Totally,
center, right?
totally. Yeah.
But yeah, it's exciting to kind of think about those next steps, which means 2 years, you guys, pay attention. 2 years of researching, patenting, experimenting, prototypes, like
Hmm.
what, asking your friends to wear them,
Yep.
you wearing
Yep.
them,
Wearing
right?
them every period for 2 years,
Yeah,
because I went through, five different samples of the body of each, meaning like the fit,
yeah,
and the cut of the underwear. Now the gusset, which is the crotch area, that is like the absorbent part of the underwear. It's 3 layers. I went through like 100 different iterations of the
yeah.
pad because I kept finding there's a top, a middle, and a bottom layer, and I kept finding different fabrics for each that was like better and better. Ultimately,
Mhm.
what I've landed on is completely non-toxic, body safe, PFAS free, free of all the lead, horrible toxins that are in, unfortunately, other products.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was, and so every, period, I got to a point where I was like literally cutting up layers
right.
to just wear in my underwear because I was like, I need to test the function. I need to
Yeah,
test how it feels. I need to test it against my body, all of the things. So
yeah,
yeah, it was a lot.
yeah. And worth it because now you've kind of arrived on the other side of that
Yeah.
and are
Yeah.
in a fairly predictable production rhythm,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
And so it's like, okay, we got the product established. So when I'm speaking to you guys listening, are you testing your offer? Are you putting it through your friends? Like Sarah Blakely made t-shirts and made her friends wear them.
Yeah.
Ariel asked her friends to wear them, different body sizes, different period flows.
Yep.
That's ways to do market research without it being some weird, inaccessible
Right.
concept that we
Right.
can't
Yep.
implement because we don't have resources or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So, and then when
Exactly.
you're really hands-on, you build this beautiful familiarity. And what I've heard you say already, Ariel, is you kind of went into this with a CEO mindset. Like you had a bigger vision in mind and you were developing a product because you were seeing where you're going to take it to. And so you have
Hmm.
that self-leadership in going through this. So what was it like? Was there a turning point in those 2 years before you quit your jobs to go into business? Or what was it like to have to shift and invest in yourself along with
Yeah.
Flower Girl?
It was honestly a ton of sacrifice because I'll be honest with you, we're in November, the end of like my, first year of being live, really.
Yeah.
And I only stopped working full time in August.
Okay.
So because I completely bootstrapped the business. So up through like all of R&D, up until almost the first year of the business being live, I've been working full time. Now, I will say, so I worked as an e-commerce consultant, and consulting gave me a really great idea of what entrepreneurship would be like because there's always like a constant ebb and flow of clients, right? And like I would take on projects as I could. If I
Mhm.
had some time to scale back and I could focus more on Flower Girl and like batch out a bunch of stuff, I did it. But I had to get really good at managing my time. And then there were times, again, because the business is bootstrapped, I live in Los Angeles, like
Right.
that I was just the business kind of became everything. And from a social perspective, honestly, like, I had to say no to a lot.
Yeah.
I kind of like shifted my priorities, boundaries with certain friendships and relationships. There was a lot of shifts happening
Mhm.
at that same time in my life, anyways, to where I was just able to like go all in on working.
Mhm. So this is rearranging your life to feed something, to create something. And
Yeah,
in that, you're growing as a person too,
yeah,
right? And now
yeah,
starting to reap the benefits of that. So August, I really appreciate that. That's new. Like, again, you guys, these things don't happen overnight. And
yeah,
I've been disillusioned by the internet's promise of
yeah.
overnight success. Like I drank that
Hmm.
Kool-Aid like I was in the desert for a month, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it took a lot to recalibrate that you can absolutely be an entrepreneur while working and you can
Hmm.
build this. I don't like side hustle, but that you can do your heart's desires until the shift feels ready.
Definitely. Yeah. It's to your point. I feel like social media often makes entrepreneurship, it like highlights it and it gives it this
Mhm.
like glamorous look and like, oh, they're like out there doing their own thing. They make their own schedule. And you kind of just assume maybe, or at least I did, like all these businesses like are profitable. And I think that's
Yeah.
one of the biggest misconceptions because I'll tell you too, if your goal is to really scale a business, like the business has been making money, but I'm putting everything back into the
Back in.
business. So
Yeah.
I'm not paying myself through this business. It's
Mhm.
not like profitable if you're looking like I could be profitable if I took all the money that I invested and stopped, but like no, the goal is to keep going. So it's constantly just like feeding back into the business.
Totally, totally. And so take us into that frame of mind now. Like this is it. You are Flower Girl, CEO and financial officer and all of the things. How has your life changed leading up to August and now after?
Yeah, now, I will say I think that I gained a ton of confidence through doing this.
Mm,
I think that it's really just helped me connect with women, especially on like a much deeper level. I just remember I'm the type of person who like I'm just constantly like reaching out or sending the email, sending the DM, like it kind of like never stops really. So just kind of always being on because I'm always thinking about it and I've
yeah,
really, told myself we're going all in
yeah,
for the next few years at least. Like we put a lot of bets on this.
yeah.
So yeah, in a sense, it's really just I'll go up to like anyone at this point and just like
Okay.
talk about it to get their opinion.
Yeah.
Like again, living in LA, in a lot of situations like networking events or
Mhm,
co-working spaces or dinners with like-minded people. So
mhm.
it comes more naturally, I think, to have these conversations. But it's been a lot of, that recently.
Well, and you have to put yourself out there to do that because those things are happening with or without us.
Yeah,
So it is a mindset shift and a very intentional decision to go and show up and participate
right.
and be willing to be, vulnerable or nervous
Yeah.
and do it anyway. So I like this idea of the all-in mindset. So right now for me, like I'm working, got the coaching business in the hopper, and I find myself obsessively thinking about it 24/7,
Yeah.
365. So, but then I'm like, okay, I'm a human, I'm a mom, I'm like this beautiful woman ahead of this. Um, but maybe there is this beauty because it's such spirit fire, to
Hmm.
be in love with your work, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So how is that evolving your identity to the Ariel that you used to be and what future Ariel is?
Yeah, it's an interesting question because I feel like I'm still evolving
Yeah.
through it. And like I said, when I first launched the business and I had this idea of like that's how I was going to market it, that how I'm marketing it now has even drastically shifted from that point.
Right.
So I feel like through every conversation or connection, I'm constantly learning more about what I want to do with my life and what
Yeah.
I want to make of the business. So it's been really beautiful in teaching me one, we are not stuck in like one path or one choice of like what you want the business to be. And I think so often like our society like tries to put us in and all of that. So, um, you know, and something interesting just to share like a story on that, people would ask me like why period underwear? And I started to hear myself answer that question by saying, well, I've worked in e-commerce for the past 10 years and I wanted to create a product in a category that felt more niche
Mhm.
and that was, had other brands but wasn't as saturated as fashion or a lot of like apparel brands. And I kept hearing myself say that story, and I was like, but why are you afraid? If you want to make a clothing brand, make a clothing brand. Like, why
Right.
be afraid? Why feel like you have to like niche in on this one category? And
Right.
don't get me wrong, I love this message and I think it's really important, and that's also why I chose it. But then I was like, when people ask me like, what's the ultimate goal for Flower Girl? I'm like, well, I think I'm gonna make it like a full apparel brand. I would love to have like all like organic, non-toxic clothing,
Right.
So anyways, all of that to say is like I feel like for a while I always like even put myself in this like box. Like this is
Yeah.
what we're doing, do that. But it's
Yeah.
like no, you can constantly change your mind and evolve.
That is, I'm going to label it as identity freedom,
Yeah.
right? So I'm getting goosebumps in this because one of my commercial jingles in the business is your business is the playground for your soul.
Yeah.
And I'm really seeing that at play with how you're finding out more about yourself
Yeah.
and giving yourself more creative freedom and working in this synchronistic relationship with your business and how it's shaping you and you're
Yeah.
shaping it. And I noticed that too with having started as sort of a virtual assistant to an online business manager, now moving into life coaching space and mixing all that together. But the turning point was removing the boxes and saying
Hmm.
no more boxes and no more rules. And even I've got like a mentor and a coach, and they will indicate one way or another. And I've now built myself up enough to discern which direction is actually going to work
Yeah.
with their guidance and experience because they're making bank and I'm not.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
going to take some of this, but I
Yeah.
have to make it mine. And that sounds like the real embodiment then of building a company and building the woman who runs that company, right?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, so that's really awesome. So now, like, looking back from where you are now, looking back to say, ground zero in this past year, what are some lessons that have come to fruition for you?
Yeah. Oh, the biggest lesson throughout this journey, I would say, has been really learning to release timelines.
Mhm.
Again, I think society puts so much pressure on women to do certain things by a certain age. You know, again, with social media, our feeds are inundated with people who like had really, or at least mine are
Yeah.
successful businesses and they're like early, like in their 20s, early 30s, and like have all this success. And I'm like, I'm in my mid 30s now and I've just started this business and I'm at a place in my life that is the most unknown I've ever been in. So
Uh,
just like really learning to like release timelines and any pressure from society has been the
mhm.
greatest lesson I think that I've learned through all of
Yeah,
this.
that's amazing because in that you'll be able to face what comes your way and adapt,
Exactly. Yeah.
adjust. And like being a business owner means making a gazillion decisions. What
Yeah.
color, what fabric, what producer, what shipping, all of those things. So
Yeah.
when you can develop that capacity and trust in your skills, like that's going to bleed into all aspects of life, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what's been surprising? Like, have you grown and are you taking on staff now? You're overseeing production at the company. Are you on shelves? Like, what's going on in the business now?
Yeah, yeah. I would love to do wholesale. That's definitely like 2026. Like I would like to figure that out because right now it is just direct to consumer online.
Mhm.
And I have contracted people definitely, and again, would love to grow the team. I took on, our CRO specialist at one point who helped me like really go through the website. I dabbled with meta ads at one point, didn't love it, so kind of like paused on that. And but yeah, I definitely think about, acquiring new customers into next year and what is that going to look like. I think paid media is important. So
Mhm.
definitely bringing somebody on, and yeah, hopefully really building out a team. Um yeah, I forgot what else was in that
Well,
question.
it's nice to know what's happening behind the scenes, right? So it's still
Yeah.
largely Arielle, CEO,
Yes, yeah,
shipper,
still me. Yep,
packager,
all the
tech
things.
girl,
Yeah.
marketing agency, all those things. And that's an important point because, I like to normalize what we're seeing versus what's actually going on.
Totally. Yeah.
And that it just makes it more relatable. And for me, it regulates my nervous system to know
Yeah.
that. It's a big business to be managing. And
Yeah.
um, you know, now it'd be interesting to hear what it's like in like a week's like day in the life of Ariel as she's managing the business. And what are you
Yeah.
noticing about yourself as you go around?
Oh, yeah. A big lesson or observation is one, again, I think I had some of this from consulting, but
Mhm.
learning to manage your time and calendar block is essential for me. So, I'm always the night before or like on a Sunday, really looking at the full week, mapping out, adding to my own calendar because I am responsible for like me and the business. And if I don't like note these things and like spell it out, it's not going to get done. So being extremely organized. I love Notion. I kind of keep my whole to-do list in Notion. It's really easy to link out to other pages for like my own briefing and just to provide more detail into like all of the tasks that need to get done.
Mhm.
So I utilize that tool a lot and yeah, I've really focused on a lot of like networking over the past year, and that'll probably continue into the next year because I have to be out and about talking about the business to grow
Mhm.
it. I think that's something that's super important. Again, I shared earlier how like I will send anyone a DM, I will send anyone an email, getting contacts. One of the biggest levers for our organic growth so far has been gifting to influencers
Mhm.
or different social media accounts. That's
Mhm.
what's worked for me. So, I find women that feel very in line with the brand who I would hope would, love the product and then post about it. I have yet to draft up any sort of like official contract with anyone where I'm like,
Sure.
X amount of posts, stories, like I'll pay you this amount. For me, it's all been organic. I'm like, I would love to gift this to you. if you're interested in trying, see what they say. I did just recently set up an affiliate program. So
Mhm.
I am starting to offer influencers commission on sales. So just like taking that to the next level as far as like again, I don't want to ever like force and be like, you owe me like posts, but it's like, hey,
Mhm.
I'm willing to like set you up on this affiliate network too. If you love the product, I would give you X% of sales if you want to talk about it. If not, no big deal. So that's been my main focuses as of lately. And yeah, just trying to figure out. I'm always trying new things. I'm always testing different
Right.
outlets. Instagram's been my main focus so far. Everyone's like, you need to get on TikTok. I'm like, "Ugh, I try, but I don't love it."
Well, I don't know. Is that just like an automatic, don't tell me what to do? I'm running it what works for me.
Yeah. I don't know. Everyone's like TikTok shop right now is the best, and
Okay.
I just have not
Yeah.
given it a solid effort yet.
It's a smart strategy to leverage off of existing audiences,
Yeah.
right? Like absolutely. And
Yeah.
then you get to build a relationship as the beautiful CEO behind the company and offer them something tangible that
Yeah.
fits into things that they're already doing. Because like influencers, that's what they how they get
Right.
make
They
money and
like
do
to
stuff,
do.
right? They talk
Yeah.
about other people's products. My stepdaughter, 16, was showing me her Christmas list off of an IG influencer. She's like, this
Yeah.
person showcases these things, and then that's how I like that's my storefront now, basically, which is
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, it's really interesting what a lot of these affiliate network tools are doing, which I think is great because, yeah, then it allows influencers, if they like your product again, they'll add it into their storefront, their
Mhm.
shops, and that's like another way for them to make commission on it. So,
Mhm.
just always staying on top of what's happening in this space has been super important too. I'm constantly,
Yeah.
I read a lot, I research a lot.
Yeah. So organizing your time, knowing what the week's going to hold, holding yourself accountable,
Yeah.
and especially being visible, right? Being
Yeah.
out there proudly flaunting the product around and talking about it. So, do you get nervous now when you go into these networking rooms, or you've got kind of your fitness under you to
Yeah,
hold the space?
not anymore.
Yeah.
And I'll say, this goes back to the whole like I feel like starting this business gave me this like new layer level of like confidence that I don't ever feel like I get nervous talking to anyone. Before there were used to be like certain times going up talking to certain people, I'd be like, oh my God, I have to go talk to this person. But now I'm like, I will talk to whoever.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you just throw yourself into the fire and
Yeah.
then you become the fire,
Yep.
right? And run with it. So what are you looking forward to in 2026? You feel like you've got the company at a good state of development that's sustainable and now
Yeah.
can start to lift from there?
Yes, 100%. And I think ultimately, like learning how to release myself from being any sort of a bottleneck in the company.
Right.
Like you asked me earlier, like I would love to start getting people in positions that can like grow it better than I can. I would love to get the affiliate program like running seamlessly, women applying and then getting product, talking about it, selling it for me ultimately, like
Mhm.
the ultimate goal with like it with this product right now is to get it passively selling like
Yeah.
month over month to where I don't have to be executing every single task for
Yeah.
to make that
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Get yourself out of the weeds and build a
Yeah,
good team under your leadership that you can
yeah,
delegate to, right? Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. How did you come up with the name?
Oh my gosh, I love flowers my whole life. I've always felt like flowers are like the greatest like gift you can like give to someone. I have also always wanted to own a flower shop.
Mm,
I've always thought that would be so fun at some point in my life. And so I had the hardest time thinking of a name. I still have the hardest time with like branding. I feel like I'm very like black and white with like a pop of color.
uh-huh.
I'm learning like I am not the business, so like separate myself from it. But
Yeah.
anyways, so I just was like it kind of just like hit me one day like what's like a basic name without being like so basic. You know, like
Uh-huh.
Flower Girl is just so like standard.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then I thought I was like, there could be really fun marketing plays on that in
Yeah.
regards to like with what the product is too, like our flowers and blooming. And anyways, so yeah, it was like one day I was just like, it's Flower Girl.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to, give yourself that freedom to play
Yeah.
in the name and then go with it. And what I like about it, because you talked about creating more clothing, please do some bras. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I get that feedback a
good
lot. Yeah.
support,
Yeah.
comfy. Uh, that'd be wonderful.
Natural.
There's, yeah, natural, right? Like
Yeah.
just a little bit. And but with Flower Girl, there's no restriction then on what else
Yeah.
you can add to that
Right.
umbrella,
Right.
right?
That too.
It's
Yeah.
it's a good choice to allow
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah. So what do you think in 3 years from now? What's Ariel going to say to present Ariel?
Oh my gosh. 3 years from now, hopefully you did it.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I will be in my home with a team around me, a small team,
Yeah.
right in 3 years, I foresee it being like smaller, but like a strong person in each role that can do the job better than I can.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Take
that's
it to the next
leadership, you
level.
guys. Like, is
Yeah.
delegating. Good leaders, you don't know that they're there because their team is doing a good job
Yeah.
in investing that into yourself. Yeah. I mean, it's so beautiful to go through the woman behind the business and making these decisions and really understanding the amount of work that goes into it. That's the other kind of lies of the internet. It's not
Yeah.
easy. It's always work,
Yeah.
it's knowledge, it's holding responsibility, and it's showing up for it. And it sounds like you're even more on fire than ever for what you're doing in the company and what's going to happen next.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So if we want to follow you, we're looking for Flower Girl over all the socials,
Yep, at
website.
flowergirl.co with an underscore at the end. And then my website is flowergirl.co, not .com.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, if you send a DM, if you contact me via the website or hello at flowergirl.co, you're talking to me. So if you have any
Yeah,
other questions, I respond to all very quickly. I'm also customer service and I love,
right.
just talking to women about any questions they might have or like explaining anything.
This it's so beautiful because if when you guys go to her website, it looks fancy. It looks like, Licenza
I
or
appreciate
picture
that
like
because that's like that's what I knew how to do going into it.
right.
Let's build the website.
So when we see that, it can create that sense of ooh la la, and it is. But I love that if you're watching the video, great, because you can see her gorgeous face. If you're listening to the podcast, there'll be a picture of her with the episode. This is the woman behind it right now. And,
Thank you.
be encouraged that same story is there for us too. And we
Yeah.
will we will get there. And it's just beautiful to create something of service that is so personal at the same time, right?
Thank you. I
I really
appreciate that.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, Ariel, that was so delightful. Thank you so much for hanging out with me.
Thank you so much for sharing your space with me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Take care.
Bye.